Hey guys, what's up? Back in the video, and today we are going to do a review of WWE Survivor Series from 2018. So let's get this on the way, shall we? No time like the present. First off, we kick off with the 5-on-5 Women's Survivor Series elimination matchup. We had Team Smackdown represented by Carmella, Naomi, Mandy Rose, Sonya Deville, and Asuka, taking on the Team Raw of Mickie James, Tamina, Nia Jax, Sasha Banks, and Bayley. This was a pretty cool opener, pretty fun opener. I like the interactions between Asuka and Sasha Banks, but unfortunately it did come down to the sole survivor being Nia Jax. I wasn't a big fan of her being the sole survivor, especially considering that she seemed to be getting pushed and rewarded for injuring Becky Lynch, and I wasn't a big fan of the whole idea of rewarding someone who injured somebody, whether it was on accident, on purpose. The entire story of, this one injured someone 6 days before and took him out of this pay-per-view, so we're going to reward them by giving him the sole survivor spot. It was what it was. I do understand why they gave it to her, because she was going to be facing Ronda Rousey at the December pay-per-view, but I just don't agree with someone being rewarded for injuring, punching someone in the face for real during a brawl and breaking their nose and giving them a concussion. Because it could have taken Becky's career away, or also her push away, because, you know how Vince McMahon is around this time. It doesn't take much for Vince McMahon to lose faith in someone. Yeah, I wasn't a big fan of that one, but it was what it was. She was the sole survivor as we move on to the next matchup, which was Shinsuke Nakamura, the United States Champion, SmackDown Shinsuke Nakamura, taking on Raw's Intercontinental Champion, Seth freaking Rollins, or just Seth Rollins in this case. Very weird not calling him Seth freaking Rollins on this pay-per-view. I'm so used to the freaking name. But it was a fantastic matchup. I thought Seth and Nakamura really proved me wrong. I do remember this match happening, but I didn't remember it being this good. I thought it was an okay match when I saw it, but I thought the match, seeing it I thought the match was fantastic. Fantastic matchup by Shinsuke Nakamura and Seth Rollins. Really brought it. I was expecting Dean Ambrose to make an appearance, because Seth Rollins and Dean Ambrose were having a little bit of a problem at the time because of the Shield breakup, because Roman going away from his leukemia and Dean Ambrose turning on Seth. His mindset wasn't really on the match, and that kind of could have given Nakamura the victory, but Seth Rollins does prevail, picking up the victory over Shinsuke Nakamura. I thought it was a fun match, really good, really fun, fantastic matchup. And, yeah, awesome match. Let's move on to the next matchup as Seth Rollins picks up the victory. Next matchup, we have SmackDown's Tag Team Champions, Sheamus and Cesaro, The Bar, taking on Raw's Tag Team Champions, AOP, with Drake Maverick, and Sheamus and Cesaro have the Big Show in their corner. This one was an okay matchup. It's good to see AOP on a pay-per-view, especially on the main roster. They were pretty dominant in NXT. And I think this was their only pay-per-view in their first run with WWE. I know they had they were at Mania this year with Karrion Kross, but this was this is their only main roster featured singles tag team match on the main roster. And it was an okay matchup, but it was mainly overshadowed by the Drake Maverick PP angle, where Drake Maverick was afraid of the Big Show so much that he pissed himself basically. Haha, very funny, Vince, you prick. But yeah, wasn't a big fan of the finish, as it overshadowed the finish, and it also made a lot of jokes of AOP. You got this big dominant tag team, and Vince McMahon basically was like, AOP, PP, see? Haha. Stupid toilet humor. Not a big fan of it, but AOP do pick up the victory over Sheamus and Cesaro. Let's move on. It was a silly finish to an okay match. Next matchup, we have the Cruiserweight Championship on the line. We have Mustafa Ali taking on Buddy Murphy for the Cruiserweight title. This is the only match that didn't have Raw vs. SmackDown stakes. This is the only match that didn't have Raw vs. SmackDown bragging rights bullshit. This was actually for the championship. This is for the Cruiserweight title. Buddy Murphy was the Cruiserweight champion as he takes on Mustafa Ali. This was freaking awesome, actually. This was a fantastic matchup by these two men. The crowd wasn't into it early because, they hadn't really done it. The 205 Live in the Cruiserweight division wasn't really built up that well. So it was kind of mostly It was mostly on the kickoff shows, the Cruiserweight division was, so the crowd hadn't been given a reason to care about the Cruiserweight division, but these two went out there and they put on a great show, and they got the crowd by the end, which is always a good thing, and Buddy Murphy picks up the win and retains the Cruiserweight Championship. Good stuff. Yeah, wouldn't mind seeing more of this, but I know Buddy Murphy and Mustafa Ali don't really compete on pay-per-view after this. I think Buddy Murphy's relegated to the pre-show after this, so I'll take it for whatever it's worth, but it was a really fantastic matchup. Next matchup, we have the men's Raw versus Smackdown 5-on-5 Survivor Series match. We have Team Raw of Bobby Lashley, Drew McIntyre, Dolph Ziggler, Finn Balor, and the Monster Among Men, Braun Strowman, taking on SmackDown's Miz, Shane McMahon, Jeff Hardy, Finn Balor, Rey Mysterio, and Samoa Joe. Not Finn Balor. Okay. So it's Miz, Shane McMahon, Jeff Hardy, Rey Mysterio, and Samoa Joe. I also accidentally said Finn Balor in there. So yeah, 5-on-5 matchup. Pretty cool match right here. It was pretty much dominated by Raw. Every time Braun Strowman was in there, you knew chaos was going to happen. I enjoyed his interactions with Shane. Poor Shane McMahon, that guy went through a battle on this night. He put Braun through the announce table with the elbow drop. That wasn't enough. He did the coast-to-coast, eliminating Dolph Ziggler. He went for another coast-to-coast immediately afterwards and got splatted by Braun Strowman. Braun Strowman eliminated Rey Mysterio, Jeff Hardy, and The Miz on his way to eliminating Shane, as it came to a 3-on-1 situation where Shane McMahon had to deal with Drew McIntyre, Bobby Lashley, and Braun Strowman, and Braun Strowman would eliminate Shane McMahon, proving that Braun Strowman really is the best in the world on this night. As Braun Strowman picks up the win, picking yet another win for the Monday Night Raw brand. And yeah, pretty good match. Pretty much, as I said, pretty much dominated by Monday Night Raw, but it was a fun. He had some fun altercations in there. I like the Shane McMahon Braun Strowman element of it. I also liked Rey Mysterio and Braun Strowman. That was a unique matchup right there. But it was what it was. Braun Strowman picks up the win. After the match, Constable Corbin, the kind of like the management of Raw at that time, attacks Braun Strowman, setting up their tables, ladders, and chairs match at TLC. So pretty cool stuff, and sets up some good stuff going into the future. Next matchup, we have, what is the next match after that? Oh yeah, we have Charlotte Flair taking on Ronda Rousey. This was supposed to be SmackDown's Women's Champion Becky Lynch taking on Raw's Women's Champion Ronda Rousey, but unfortunately, due to the Nia Jax punch to the face of Becky Lynch, causing her a concussion and a broken nose, Becky Lynch wasn't able to compete, so Charlotte Flair takes her place. And for a match that was set up 5 days, with 5 days notice, I thought this was pretty intense, pretty cool, pretty good action from Ronda Rousey as she continues to impress in 2018. In the year 2018, I think Ronda Rousey had a really great year in 2018 in her debut year. Yeah, there was Ronda Rousey got bloodied up around the mouth area around this point from an elbow from Charlotte, but it was very physical, very intense, and as usual, Charlotte Flair went after the knee of Ronda Rousey. Ronda Rousey went after the arm of Charlotte, and something had to give, which was a lame DQ. But I actually understand this DQ because it wasn't supposed to be the actual match. It was supposed to be Becky Lynch versus Ronda. I probably imagine that this was supposed to be the finish to that match. So they just inserted Charlotte in there, in Exhibit A, Exhibit B, whatever that bullshit nonsense is. And yeah, it was a pretty cool match, and it also set up their WrestleMania program involving Becky, because Becky wasn't supposed to be in that WrestleMania match. It was supposed to be Charlotte Flair versus Ronda at WrestleMania 35. But that Becky Lynch woman, just had to get over, didn't she? Yeah, pretty cool stuff right here. Ronda Rousey was awesome. Charlotte Flair was awesome. They put on a really good match for 5 days notice, and awesome stuff right there. Big thumbs up. And DQ, I'm not a fan of DQs on the pay-per-views usually, but I thought this one actually made sense considering the circumstances. And, where also Ronda Rousey got beat up pretty bad with steel chairs and kendo sticks after the match, and laid out in her hometown of California. And she got booed very heavily, and apparently Ronda Rousey took this very personally, that booing. So, yeah, it was the start of the honeymoon period with Ronda Rousey kind of was ending at this point, and the fans started to turn on her at this point because she kept on winning. Yeah, the shame of winning. I don't know about that. Sometimes it's very weird. Wrestling fans are sometimes. We wrestling fans, we're very weird. Oh, how dare that person win so much? Anyhow, next matchup we have Brock Lesnar, the WWE Universal Champion, taking on the WWE, the newly crowned WWE Champion, Daniel Bryan, in a dream match for some. This match it was a match of two halves. The first half was just Brock Lesnar just throwing Daniel Bryan around in usual Brock Lesnar fashion. It got pretty boring. It got pretty, it was pretty uncomfortable when Daniel Bryan was landing on his neck, especially when you know the history of Daniel Bryan's neck injuries. Even going to today with, as Bryan Danielson, he's just going off to get neck surgery potentially in 2024. Here we are in 2024. But yeah, Brock Lesnar and Daniel Bryan, they put on a good match, but the first half was pretty much dominated by Brock. And then a sneaky little low blow from Daniel Bryan changed the aspect of this match, which we went into the second half, and that was pretty much when the match got really awesome. Love this match. I love the second half of this match where Daniel Bryan, being the underdog as he is, trying to take down the Beast and getting him in multiple different attempts where he thought Daniel Bryan would have it, the psycho knee, the yes lock, the label lock, but then he went for Brock Lesnar countered the label lock and got caught with a triangle choke, and then Brock Lesnar was able to counter the triangle choke into the F5 and pin Daniel Bryan. So, very solid matchup, a match of two halves. I wasn't a fan of the first half because it was usual Brock Lesnar suplex, etc., etc. But I did enjoy Daniel Bryan after the low blow spot. Pretty much awesome. So yeah, pretty fun stuff right there. As for the main show, we have Raw dominating SmackDown 6-0 for the night, clean sweep. The reason why I say main show is because WWE accidentally did a boo-boo on the pre-show. SmackDown actually did win on the pre-show, but where they weren't supposed to. It was a case of the left hand not knowing what the right hand was doing. Silly Vince, man. You can tell Vince is in charge at this point, can't you? And yeah, so Raw was supposed to do a clean sweep the entire night, but because SmackDown won on the pre-show, they just didn't count that, and they basically told you that the pre-show didn't matter. So good job on that one. Good job, really, WWE, on that one. You're kind of telling people not to watch your pre-shows because they don't really matter. Anyhow, that aside, I thought it was a pretty fun show. I wasn't a fan of the Nia Jax getting a push because it getting rewarded for injuring someone, but that's just me. The rest of the matches were awesome. Brock Lesnar, Daniel Bryan was great. Ronda Rousey versus Charlotte was great. That's going to be it now, guys. I'm going to give this an 8 out of 10. Fun show. Just some small bits I didn't enjoy, like the Nia Jax part at the beginning, and also the PP angle involving Drake Maverick. But apart from that, solid show, 8 out of 10. Tell me what you think in the comments, leave me a like if you deserve it, guys, and I'll see you guys on the next video, whenever that may be, and I'm out.